This presentation of the Big Game was made possible through the kind support of Tangipahoa Parish Tourism, your guide to the crossroads of Louisiana. And North Oaks Health System, improving lives every time, every touch.
Tangipahoa Parish is home to the strawberry capital of the world and the premier destination for family fun and adventure. Whether you're looking to visit one of our historic museums, grab a bite to eat at our amazing restaurants, or attend an exciting local event, there's always something to do in Tangipahoa Parish. Tangipahoa Tourism is proud to support the Southeastern Channel in its mission to educate and inspire young media professionals right here in Tangipahoa Parish, the crossroads of Louisiana.
Drop, yo.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to The Big Game. I'm Katie Randall alongside Lucas Hill, and for this episode, we will be getting an in-depth look at the journey of a Southeastern goalkeeper.
We'll also take a look at the Hammond bracket of the Southland Conference softball tournament and discuss how the Lady Lions is proud for a second straight title is going.
But first, let's look at some intramural sports around Southeastern. While the school year may be winding down, fun on campus isn't done yet. As the intramural leagues are still going strong, I took a closer look.
My name is Colin Knockan. I'm a junior kinesiology major. I've been playing intramurals for about 3 years now.
Southeastern's intramural sports give students and employees a chance to compete in a fun, safe, and structured environment. Fall leagues include flag football and indoor volleyball, while spring leagues feature basketball, softball, and soccer.
Being a college student and everything, you have a lot on your plate, you have a lot of work to do and stuff like that. Sometimes it could feel kind of hard to get active. Soccer has given me an opportunity to actually play on the same team as a few of the guys that I used to play against in high school. I played on Edie White high school soccer team. We played against some Lutcher guys, and now we have 3 Lutcher guys who I actually played against that year on our team. So it's a little different to be able to be playing on the same field as the guys that I was just going against about 3 years ago. Playing intramural sports has given me a good bit of connections and made a lot of friends along the way. Through intramural soccer, I was able to meet one of my friends, Cole. He's now in the fraternity. I was able to meet him through the games and stuff. We talked, we became friends, and now he's in the fraternity playing on the soccer team with me, and we're having a good time. Along with a few other guys, we're starting to talk to some new guys this season, just starting to hang out with them, and we'll see where that goes too. Soccer intramurals is also a good way to just keep me in shape. Being able to get out on these fields and play these games really just gives me a chance to run around, keep my legs pumping again. Sometimes we'll even have practices every now and then. It's a good opportunity to just hang out as brothers. It really gives us a chance to bond and have a good time with each other without having to be super competitive, you know, trying to win a tournament or anything like that. Just going out there and having a lot of fun with each other.
Intramural soccer at Southeastern offers players a chance to stay connected to the sport they love, and it's just one of many intramural leagues students can join. From volleyball to flag football, there's a place for everyone to compete, stay active, and make memories. Learn more at southeastern.edu.
Now let's take it from intramural to NCAA Division I soccer, in which Kendall Curran has one of the more interesting stories among Southeastern athletics and students.
My name is Kendall Curran, and I play goalkeeper.
Kendall Curran's journey to Southeastern Louisiana University is one of determination, growth, and leadership. Born in Peoria, Illinois, and raised in Brentwood, Tennessee, Kendall's love for soccer began at a young age. She started her collegiate career at Tennessee Tech.
I committed to Tennessee Tech, played my freshman fall there, and then entered the transfer portal around Thanksgiving when it opened that semester, and then committed to SLU and came here in January of 2024. So I actually had a good experience, which is not something you'll hear from a lot of transfers. They transfer out of usually maybe toxic environments, you'd say. I play a position that doesn't sub a lot, and the girl who was playing ahead of me, is still there. Great person. I just wasn't going to get to play a whole lot, and our eligibility is very limited. We only get to play this for 4 years, so I wanted to spend it, on the field, getting some play time, and that's why I transferred. So
Kendall entered a new world when she transferred to Southeastern. A new school, a new culture, a new team. This transfer made a large difference in Kendall's experience, not only as an athlete, but as a college student as well.
When I moved down here, it was my first time in Louisiana ever. So first time crossing state borders was when I was moving in. It was definitely a transition. I had only been in college a semester. I just had gotten settled there and then packed everything up to move down here. But I loved it. First thing I noticed was just the beautiful weather, and I've loved it. I got to experience my first Mardi Gras, which no words could prepare me for that, but I've loved it. So I'd say the transition went pretty well. Made friends really quickly. Everybody's so welcoming and very sweet, and the coaches definitely played a huge role in that. We play a lot of games with each other, competitive, both on and off the field. We spend a lot of time together. So yeah, I think having that family away from my family in Tennessee has been a huge thing for me.
1, 2, 3, family! Kendall's time at Southeastern has been nothing short of exceptional. She has proven herself not only as a great player, but a great teammate and leader as well.
In my exit meeting of last year, the coaches had asked me if that was a role that I'd want to take on. I absolutely said yes. It's something that has been a goal of mine. I want to be that kind of teammate for my teammates, and I hope that even before I was an official captain, that they saw me as somebody who could lead them and they could rely on to fall back on if they needed some help. I think a lot of that plays with my position as well. Goalkeepers can see the whole field, so they're already viewed as kind of a leadership position on the team. Just we're responsible for communicating and helping people position, and I think that definitely played a huge role. Last year I had the privilege of taking home Newcomer of the Year, but another goalkeeper had been selected for Goalkeeper of the Year, so individually that's a goal of mine. I hope that I can be a good teammate on and off the field, as always. I'd say that's my goal as a captain, just to be the best teammate I can for my teammates, my family here. So
for this goalkeeper, the future looks bright as she continues to inspire both her team and her community.
Right before the Southland Conference Tournament, the Southeastern baseball team took a trip over to Baton Rouge to test their skills. For more on how that went, here is my recap on this annual rivalry.
Let's go, boys. Hey, stay focused. Let's crank. Family on 3, 1, 2, 3. Family.
Coming off of a dominant series victory against the Houston Christian Huskies, the Lions look to the number 2 team in the nation for a potential upset in the making against the LSU Tigers. Chase Ambrose was on the mound tonight for the Lions, but it wouldn't be a smooth one for the sophomore, as back-to-back home runs would be the beginning of a dominant game for the LSU Bats, while freshman sensation William Schmidt would strike out 7 out of 15 Lion batters over just 3 innings pitched. The Lions were competitive early on cutting an early 4-0 Tigers lead to a 5-2 lead after a Dane Watts home run and Lake and Polk RBI double. But Michael Braswell and Daniel Dickinson's RBI singles would lead to 4 of the Tigers' 5 runs in the bottom of the 4th that the Lions simply could not recover from. And by the bottom of the 7th, a walk-off home run by pinch hitter Ethan Fry would end the game early with a 15-2 defeat, the largest loss the Lions have had all season.
We haven't really had one of these, the entire season. I think our biggest loss was to McNeese by 5 or 6. So it's just one of those games. Kind of got away from us. When it gets away from you early a little bit, you don't want to really use your arms that you're going to use for the weekend. You want to give them a little bit of rest. They've been used a bunch this year. So when that happens, sometimes it get out of hand. So I thought we competed hard. They threw a lot of, probably 3 guys will be big leaguers, and when that happens, it makes it hard on the offense.
The Lions look to regroup this weekend as they prepare for their final home series finale against the Lamar Cardinals before going back on the road next weekend for the Southland Conference Series finale against the Nichols Colonels hoping to nab a top 2 seed in the Southland Tourney and a potential berth in the NCAA tournament. For the Big Game, I'm Lucas Hill.
As the regular season ended for the Lady Lions, the softball team again finds themselves in the top spot in their conference, hosting the Hammond bracket of the Southland Conference Tournament. Here's Jules Dormain with more.
This season, the Southland Softball and Baseball Championships had a bit of a makeover. For softball, the bracket was split between Hammond and Lake Charles. Southeastern, being the 2 seed, dominated their half of the bracket. Multiple big-time performances all around from the Lady Lions. The Lady Lions started the weekend off hot with a close win against ACU. LaRue started out in the circle for the Lady Lions, but Coach Freeman opted to go to the bullpen early. But it would be the third pitcher, Lewinsky, who would be credited with the save. In their second contest against the 6th-seeded Stephen F. Austin Lady Lumberjacks, the whole team shined. The Lady Lions were firing on all cylinders, pitching, hitting, and base running. They would command that one 7-3. In their final game against the number 3 Nichols, the Lady Lions would rely heavily on Macy LaRue and managed to squeeze out a win 4-3. After McNeese took care of business in Lake Charles, the Lady Lions will travel to the Cowgirls for the championship series May 8th through 10th. Reporting for the Big Game, I'm Jules Dorman.
We're going to take a quick break, but don't go anywhere. When we come back, we're going to get into a look in the NBA playoffs and the drama surrounding it. Take a trip to a nearby high school that is seeking major changes. Check in with our friends at the Baton Rouge Zydeco. Then we'll hop in the ring for a little boxing in Hammond. Don't go anywhere. The Big Game will be right back.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. Can you see anything different as a pill?
No.
You don't know?
Fentanyl is being mixed into everything now. There's only one thing that will save somebody's life. That is naloxone nasal spray.
Fentanyl, it's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable.
Why would drug dealers put a lethal dose of fentanyl in drugs if they know it's so harmful?
Really just all about the money.
I just didn't realize that one pill could change your whole life.
More kids should know.
Yo, camping buddy. Okay, you guys ready?
Dude, I thought you were driving.
I thought you were driving.
Oh, I never said I was driving.
I definitely can't drive.
If you're high, just don't drive. It's illegal everywhere. If you feel different, you drive different.
Welcome back to the Big Game. The NBA playoffs are in full swing with some of the biggest mashups of the season finally tipping off. For the biggest shots and the craziest moments, here's Big Game reporter Avion Dodge.
2025 playoffs are delivering some edge-of-your-seat excitement, and tonight was no exception. During the Eastern Conference semifinals, the New York Knicks 108, Boston Celtics 105 overtime game. In a stunning game one, the Knicks overcame a 20-point second-half deficit to defeat the champions in overtime. OG Anunoby and Jalen Brunson each combined for 29 points, but it was Mikal Bridges who sealed the victory, and with a crucial steal from Jaylen Brown in the final seconds. The Indiana Pacers 121 and Cleveland Cavaliers 112. The Pacers took a 1-0 series lead against the top-seeded Cavaliers with a balanced offensive attack led by Pascal Siakam's 25 points. The Pacers' efficient shooting and team play proved too much for the Cavaliers in Game 1. During the Western Conference, the Golden State Warriors 103, Houston Rockets 89. Buddy Hield earned his nickname Game 7 Buddy after a career-defining performance, scoring 33 points and hitting 9 out of 11 three-pointers. His sharpshooting propelled the Warriors past the Rockets, setting up the second-round matchup against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Denver Nuggets 120, Los Angeles Clippers 101. The Nuggets advanced to the Western Conference semifinals, capitalizing on a lackluster performance from the Clippers. James Harden faced a lot of criticisms for another lackluster Game 7, true to his career. As the playoffs intensify, the games only get better. I'm Avion Dotch with the big game.
Let's come back to Louisiana, where Denham Springs High School is undergoing some new renovations within their athletics department. For more on how the Yellow Jackets are upgrading, here is Denham Springs alum and big game reporter Miles Edwards.
Over the last couple of years, there's been a lot of commotion going on at Denham Springs High School in terms of facility growth. And after all the speculation, the construction of a new football stadium was built in 2022. A huge culture shock in Denham Springs that has benefited drastically for the school and the community.
You know, we've seen a lot of changes here at Denham Springs over the last 4 or 5 years. You know, the new football field, the new baseball and softball fields, then of course the new field house that's getting built right here with the new weight room and new offices. And it's been a really cool transformation to see the community really invest in Denham Springs High School with these facilities that are, you know, for all of our students to be able to, you know, whether it's running track or playing football or playing soccer, or, you know, all of our sports are, you know, lifting weights in the weight room using the field house facilities. So it's really been an awesome change, and you've kind of seen the growth and the buy-in of the community with these, you know, new facilities coming out. It's been a huge addition to our community and to our school, and I think it really is a big positive because it's giving these students a modern, a clean, a great place to come and do athletics and to start, you know, learning these life memories that they you know, these life lessons, life memories that they learn from athletics. It's really, really good and just shows that Denham Springs really is growing in this time right now.
No class has experienced more change at Denham Springs than this year's 2025 graduating seniors. Senior quarterback Jerry Horn, who was a 4-year starter for the Yellow Jackets, has played in both the old and new football stadium and has excelled each and every step of the way. Known for his leadership and excellence on and off the field, Horn was thrilled about the changes that has benefited all sports and hopes this continues for generations to come.
Definitely a lot of things have changed throughout the years. I've grown up in Denham. I've been here my whole life, so I've kind of seen it all take off, and I've seen the changes go down, and it's awesome, and it's paying off to the kids. We have tons of great sports programs around here, and all these teams are being benefited by the new facilities and everything that's going on around Denham and just our city in general.
An entire city has been ecstatic to witness these monumental events that have occurred and look forward to what's next.
Staying in the Baton Rouge area, while the NHL is just nearing the end of their playoffs, local minor league hockey is just about over. With that in mind, we decided to check in on our own local franchise, the Baton Rouge Zydeco. With more on that is big game reporter Sophia Daniels.
It was a thrilling final weekend for the Baton Rouge Zydeco as they closed out their 2024-2025 season at the Raising Cane's River Center. On Friday, April 11th, the Zydeco faced off against the Mississippi Seawolves. The team delivered a commanding performance, showing a victory that showcased their growth and their determination throughout the season. Heading into the final game on April 12th, every moment mattered and the pressure was on. Head coach Everett Thompson has been leading the charge with a passion and focus all season long, and it showed on the ice. It's been a thrilling season, and the Zydeco gave their fans a final weekend they won't forget. As the season concludes, the Baton Rouge Zydeco have so much to be proud of. Their strong finish sets a promising foundation for the upcoming season, and fans can look forward to more exhilarating hockey action as they continue to make their mark in the league. Reporting for the big game, I'm Sophia Daniels.
With the UFC making its return to New Orleans in July, combat sports as a whole are in the limelight. A local boxing gym in Hammond is one location where athletes can find out if they have what it takes to make it inside the ring. Here's Kendrick Allen with more.
Deep in Hammond sits Rayvon Dykes Jr.'s Innovative Boxing and Fitness Academy, or the IBFA, a state-of-the-art boxing gym home to many of the sport's future stars. Many boxers around Hammond come here to hone their skills, and others come to hit fitness goals they set for themselves. However, one thing that sets this gym apart is the family setting it has built, and for some, boxing is their way of life, and literally runs in their family heritage.
I actually used to fight. Don't look like it, but I used to fight a lot back in the day. Did boxing, and I actually did MMA. So it's just in the genes, man. My dad, my Uncle Magoo, over there in Avondale on the West Bank. A lot of my family out there box also. I so happen to live over here, so we come over here.
The gym takes boxers of all walks of life, accepting the old and the young, giving everyone something to strive for, whether it's in the ring or not. Every fighter has their reasons to strive for their goals, and here, every fighter's goal is respected. While some search for glory on big stages, others enjoy the simplicities.
And I was just looking for discipline. Boxing provides a certain level of discipline and confidence within yourself. It allows you to be able to count on yourself. I know one thing, at the end of the day, man, I can count on myself to be able to, these hands, they can do anything, you know, so.
Overall, this gym is a prime example of a resurgence of the sport throughout Louisiana, as the Pelican State used to be a hotspot for prize-fighting events, as many in the state are still able to recall events like the Battle of New Orleans between Leon Spinks and Muhammad Ali. The coaches of this gym, especially amateur and soon-to-be pro boxer Rayvon Dykes Jr., feel like the time is now for Louisiana boxing, due to the state being an underrated producer of talent in the ring, and that soon it won't be overlooked anymore.
I feel like Louisiana is we growing in boxing. You know what I'm saying? Louisiana been in the boxing game for a long time, but I feel like, you know, we're really just trying to like get recognized more. You know, like the West Coast and the East Coast, they really recognize. In the South, you got Texas, you got Florida, Georgia, but I feel like it's time for Louisiana to grow in the boxing world as well, because we got some great fighters that's coming out of Louisiana.
While the romanticized version of boxing includes stars with many millions to their names and knockouts that define legacies, IBFA is showing the actual realities of boxing for millions: discipline, family, and confidence building. For the Big Game, I'm Kendrick Allen.
Time for a break, but when we come back, we're going to wrap this show up with a look at how the NFL draft in Green Bay went for the next batch of NFL stars. The Big Game will be right back.
Mom was always very self-sufficient, but we started noticing things were off.
I was forgetting my responsibilities at work.
I told Mom we should visit a doctor.
Alzheimer's. It was hard to hear that.
Early detection gave us time to seek information and support as a family. I've never felt more connected with Mom.
If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
This presentation of The Big Game was made possible through the kind support of Tangipahoa Parish Tourism, your guide to the crossroads of Louisiana. And North Oaks Health System, improving lives every time, every touch.
Tangipahoa Parish is home to the strawberry capital of the world and the premier destination for family fun and adventure. Whether you're looking to visit one of our historic museums, grab a bite to eat at our amazing restaurants, or attend an exciting local event, there's always something to do in Tangipahoa Parish. Tangipahoa Tourism is proud to support the Southeastern Channel in its mission to educate and inspire young media professionals right here in Tangipahoa Parish, the crossroads of Louisiana.
Drop, yo.
The NFL draft was in Green Bay this year. Some of the biggest names in football saw their name called in front of Lambeau Field. For those who went in the first round and those who didn't, here is Big Game reporter Jaleel Hutton.
The 2025 NFL Draft has come and gone, with many college players stepping into the next level of their careers. The draft has had many big names called, like Cam Ward, a quarterback who was drafted at number 1 by the Tennessee Titans. There was also the Heisman Trophy winner Travis Hunter, who was drafted to the Jacksonville Jaguars, and Ashton Jeanty, a running back from Boise State who was drafted to the Las Vegas Raiders. The New Orleans Saints going into this draft have picked many players to add to their roster. In the first round, with the 9th pick, they drafted Kelvin Banks Jr., an offensive tackle from Texas. In the second round, they drafted Tyler Show, a quarterback out of Louisville. There are many other names they have drafted, like Vernon Broughton, Jonas Sanker, Danny Stutzman, and many other players. With all of these players being drafted, the Saints are planning to have a great and better season. There were many other big names in the draft that fell down into the lower rounds. One of those big names that stood out the most was Shedeur Sanders, who was drafted to the Cleveland Browns in the 5th round. After having 2 great seasons at Colorado, he was projected to be drafted in the 1st round, but many teams have passed on taking him. But now that he has been drafted, he is ready to make a name for himself in the NFL. Reporting for The Big Game, I'm Jaleel Hutton.
It's time for some pick and roll. So Lucas, what do you think was the biggest surprise for the 2025 NFL Draft?
Yeah, I think a lot of people are going to point to Shedeur Sanders' fall from being a potential #1 overall pick all the way back in January to, well, maybe he'll be a top 3, maybe at least top 10. I think people need to pay attention to Will Johnson's fall. This is a guy that I thought was going to be a surefire top 5 overall pick. Seeing him fall to the 2nd round to Arizona was very surprising. And seeing 2 other defensive backs like Maxwell Harrison from Kentucky, who I got to see at the Senior Bowl this past January, and Jahdae Barron, who won the Thorpe Award, I think both of them are good, but I do think that Will Johnson was one of the pure best cover corners in this year's draft class. Very surprising to see him fall all the way to number 45 to Arizona, but it's going to be an interesting pairing with him alongside what I think is one of the more dominant defensive linemen in all of football, and Walter Nolan.
Yeah, definitely pretty interesting. What late round pick do you think will be a steal heading into the season?
I've got 2 for you. I'll give you one on both sides of the football. Another guy that I got to see during the Senior Bowl, Darius Alexander from Toledo. This dude is going to be a problem, and when you see him on the defensive line for the New York Giants, it's amazing to me that this is what the Giants front 4 is going to look like. You're obviously going to have Darius. You're going to have your interior nose tackle in Dexter Lawrence, who's already a 3-time Pro Bowler. You look at Abdul Carter, who they got in the 1st round. Not to mention, you're already having a franchise player in Kayvon Thibodeau on the other side. This is a front 4 that I would not be surprised if they improve greatly from where they were in their production on the defensive line last year. I think it was a big need for New York to go get defensive linemen. Not only do you get one that resembles a lot of Micah Parsons, as well as a little bit of Lawrence Taylor and Abdul Carter, but not to mention one of the fastest rising stars in this year's NFL draft class, and Darius Alexander. Guy is a great when it comes to absorbing double teams, fighting off of them, gets inside really quickly and disrupts a lot of plays. So really excited to see Darius and what he brings to them. On the other side, many people are going to look at Emeka Egbuka, Tutoria McMillan, and Matthew Golden at the receiver position. Many people forget about Pat Bryant and what he brings to the table. I thought his first step is one of the best in all of college football last year for Illinois. There's a reason why Luke Altmaier went to him a lot last year. Goes to a Denver offense where Bo Nix is going to have an array of receivers to throw the football to. Not to mention with Cortland Sutton, you get a tight end in Colston Loveland in the 1st round. Not to mention what Pat Bryant's going to bring to the table on the outside. I definitely would love to see him at that X position. Put him on an island outside with defensive backs. He's going to make you pay every single chance he gets an opportunity on a go route or maybe even a post.
Yeah, I agree. What would you grade the Saints draft overall this year?
It's very complicated because people are going to look at it initially and say, well, this was a horrible draft class. I gave them a C. Let me tell you why. Everybody criticizes the 1st round pick in Kelvin Banks, including me. But after I went back and looked at it, this is a great scenario for the Saints. You put Kelvin Banks in, you put him at right tackle. Now you also have a staple at left tackle with a guy from last year in Talisi Fuaga, who had a fantastic rookie season. Now, many people are going to say, well, what are you going to do with a guy like Trevor Penning, who you got a couple of years ago? Well, this is an opportunity for him to excel. I think he gets placed into either left or right guard, and a guy that Kellen Moore got to work with last year was an excellent pick whenever you put him out at guard. He was a Louisville kid, ends up moving to guard, has a fantastic season, and I think he's going to excel well. Do I think it's going to work out at the end of the day for Trevor Penning at left guard? I don't know, but I do think that the Saints definitely need help at guard. I think that's what he's going to bring. Jonas Sinker, who you got in this 3rd round, I thought you could have gotten Xavier Watt, 2-time All-American. I know he dealt with injuries throughout the year, but I think it would have been a better pick than what you got with Jonas Sinker. I don't have any problems with him, but I do think that you still leave more on the table with a guy like Watts. Tyler Shaw was an interesting one to go get in the second round. I thought you could have gotten either a Will Howard or a Riley Leonard. I thought Will Howard would have fit in perfectly. Watched him on Gruden's quarterback camp. Thought he excelled well in his offense. Thought he excelled well throughout the camp. Has a high football IQ. I know Shaw is probably the most NFL ready, but a 26-year-old rookie, guys over 25, you just don't see that type of production anymore, especially with a guy like Shaw who's not as mobile, and the way the quarterback position has evolved, it's definitely going to be an interesting one. But I think the best pick that you've gotten was Danny Stutzman from Oklahoma. North and South linebacker. Loved watching his film over at Oklahoma. This dude is going to be an excellent pairing to go alongside with an aging star in Demario Davis.
Now, going with that, what were you most disappointed with this season with the Saints for the draft?
So the thing about this is, first round need, you should have gone defensive lineman. I thought that the Kelvin Banks pick was very interesting, but I think you could have gotten one of the two Georgia guys. You could have either gotten Mykel Williams or Jalen Walker. Jalen Walker would have been much more preferable because Mykel Williams was still dealing with that ACL tear that he had in the middle of the season. I thought Walker was much more productive off the edge. I thought you could move him in a variety of positions. You could put him on the edge, or you could put him in the middle of the field as a linebacker. Rangy guy will move up and down the field. I would expect that guy to have maybe first year 50, 60 tackles for Atlanta, as well as maybe 5 or 6 sacks. Guy's going to be in the backfield on a consistent basis for the Falcons, but definitely one where the Saints swung and missed. I thought defensive lineman should have been the number one thing you could have emphasized yourself on. But I will say this, the one thing that should be positive, Fidel Diggs that you got in the 7th round, watched his film at the East-West Shrine Bowl, consistent guy. When I tell you during pass rush, this dude was making play after play after play. I thought his first step was excellent. He does need to work on his pad level, though. I think he can, once he gets that straightened up and he's behind an array of veterans on the defensive line, he can eventually get himself into that rotation where, kind of like what you saw with Chase Young last year. Didn't start a lot last year, but I think Chase Young last year had a very productive season. I think you might be able to see the same thing from Fidel Diggs. I think he's going to be an excellent addition to an already very deep Saints defensive line room.
I'm right there with you. And that'll do it for this episode of The Big Game. For more information on Lion Athletics, visit www.lionsports.net. And for more of us here at The Big Game, visit thesoutheasternchannel.com. So for Lucas Hill and the entire Big Game crew, I'm Katie Randall. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.